How many of you ever heard this? You've heard that garlic is good for colds? Yes. You got to be careful whenever somebody tries to provide a cure for the common cold. Very often you hear things like, you know, I started drinking orange juice when I had my cold, and 14 days later it was gone. Great, as it would have been if you didn't drink anything for your cold. So you gotta watch that kind of result. That's why this one, I was kind of drawn to this study. I love the fact they had 146 healthy adults, and they gave roughly half of them garlic and half of them placebos. The ones that got the garlic came down with 24 colds compared to 65 colds. Well, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? I mean, you figure 24 out of 72 got sick with garlic, yeah? So what's that, ish? That's a third. That's a third, basically. Actually, I think it's exactly a third, isn't it? It is, it's exactly a third. How about 65 versus 74? That's almost all of them, right? That's like 80% or something like that. So you're comparing a third to 80%, and I mean, hell, even with a large margin of error, that's going to be significantly different. Right? I mean, think about it. A third is less than a majority, and all of them is almost all of them, which is way more than a majority, so they're 50% apart from each other. So unless the standard error is wickedly large, that's going to be significant. Of course, the questions you have to ask, hopefully one jumps out at you. They were given supplements, and the British scientists followed them. In other words, it was a completely uncontrolled study. We have no control over what those 72 people did and those 74 people did. You see what I'm getting at? They were let go into the world to live their lives, which means you can't control for other variables, like lifestyle. Now, I would hope that they would have at least questionnaire that out and tried to control for it that way. But realize that there's all kinds of stuff that gets in the way too. So good Lord only knows. Now, it was double-blinded. So what does that mean?
The researchers don't know who got the garlic, the placebos, and the participants.
Good. So a little pill was given to the participant. And neither the person that had handed the pill to them nor the person that got the pill had any idea what was in the pill. What did they tell them? They just tell them they're going to be in a research study. How many of you guys have taken a research methods class before? Nobody yet. Has anybody done one of these where you're part of a trial? Like a medicine trial like that? What do they tell you when they hand it to you? You know what? Don't answer that question. We'll do this one down here, this placebo one, after we're done. Because actually that was it was fun what they told them in that. We'll do the garlic and colds first though. All right, what are we testing? What are we testing? You guys just got us started on this. We're testing little p again. But actually we're testing two little p's, aren't we? We're testing P1 and P2. P1 and P2. What should P1 be?
Garlic.
Garlic cold rate? Yeah. Garlic cold rate? I think so. How about P2?
Placebo cold.
Yeah, non-garlic cold rate. Or placebo cold rate, like that. Right. What do you want to claim? So this goes back to Michael's question. Did we have the theory before we collected the data, or after? Before? So we've heard this for years, for centuries. Garlic has been extolled. So if we're going to test the claim beforehand, can we test this? Can we just go with that first? I mean, it's almost this universal belief that garlic's better, but if we don't have the data to support it, you want to just make it two-tailed in the beginning and see if there's a difference, or do you want to go straight to less than? What do you guys say? What? Scrapper says less than?
No, it wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you. Somebody, you want to go with less than? Oh, what the hell? Want to go with that? Want to go straight to, we think garlic's going to knock down colds, rather than we just think garlic's going to be different than not garlic? Sure. You guys are a little happier with that. Emphasis on a little.
How do you not know you're taking garlic? Like,
Well, according to Robin Leach of garlic,
he's no odor.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, apparently they've got it isolated so
Of
that
all
you
the
can.
things you're gonna like.
As an Italian, I agree with you.
Like garlic or fish oil. How do you
Well,
know?
but if you take a fish oil pill,
Yeah,
if it's sealed up, if it's capsuled up, you don't know what's in there.
But you burn it. Yes, you do, because when you burn
I used to take
it,
fish oil pills. I never cooked it. I never took garlic pills though. I mean, as an Italian, I love garlic, but I mean, you know when you're eating garlic. Sorry, go ahead. You're gonna say something. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I've taken garlic pills a lot, and it don't taste it at all.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think they've isolated whatever the compound is, and done away with the flavoring, which is kind of like, it's like getting a nice little bit of pasta without eating pasta.
Yeah, but you don't put it in your mouth and just swallow it, right?
That's true.
So you're
You know, it's like a lozenge. Here's my garlic lozenge.
Yeah, it's
It's
not-
wonderful.
Yeah.
That'd be a fine, that'd be a top seller. So the idea is you don't know what you're getting. You don't know what you're getting. Okay. So here we go. Now, I made a mention earlier. Of. Oh, wait, go ahead.
Wouldn't H not be equal to?
Thank you. I'm sorry. I was too busy thinking about this over here. Equals to. Let's think about it over here. I made a mention earlier, and I was going because the 1/3 and the almost 100% do not equal each other. I made a mention before that there's probably no way we're not going to get significance on this study unless what? Remember what I said? We said that 1/3 of our sample got cold with garlic and like 80%. Unless the margin of error is so huge that they overlap each other. So I want to compare real quickly, and this is just a nod to what's going on behind the scenes, because the nod essentially is the same nod as was last week. And we spent so much time on this last week, I don't want to get into it crazily today. We need an analog for this. But we have to go back to our z distribution because we're testing proportions again. Now, as an analogy, we looked at the difference in the averages here. What are we going to look at over here?
Your p-hat?
Exact the difference in the p-hats. Exactly right. Exactly right. And then the analogous bottom, and again, don't memorize this.
Is it P hat and Q or your complement?
That's exactly what, yes, you have to use, you might remember this from before and you might not, either way is fine. From the single proportions, from the single, like the one we just did with the scroll of numbers, the Z looked like this, PQ over N. Now, believe it or not, it wasn't P hat and Q hat for hypothesis testing because we're using a null hypothesis. It's PQ over N. That has to make its appearance up here again. But there now are two of them that are going to be added together like they were over here. And the industry term that is used, and again, I don't have an exceptionally good explanation for this one. It's called P bar and Q bar. And what it's actually called, and this is again, don't memorize this, this is just what your machine is going to be kicking out. It's an average P and an average Q based on your two values of P1 and P2, if you will. So it takes your sample, assumes that they're both, if you will, close to the true one, and forms a hypothesized, I think they actually call it a pooled value of P and Q, so P bar, Q bar. So this is what this and this are analogous. This is what's going to be coming out of your TI when it runs it. You don't have to run it manually, I don't want you to, because there's too many places to screw up. But just so you know, there's an analogous test statistic for proportions, just like there is for means. So let's let it do the work for us. How about some errors? What do you think? What would a type 1 be?